Who's catching the ball and scoring fantasy points in week 3? Listen up, because Sports Illustrated's senior fantasy analyst Michael Fabiano has the receivers to start and sit this weekend. And Fabs, for the starters, you have your eyes on 2 playmakers, Marquise Brown, Sterling Shepard. Tell us why.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown's been really good. I mean, over the first couple of weeks, he's averaging more than 20 fantasy points a game. I mean, that's bananas good. And a guy that a lot of folks didn't draft until very late because the Ravens run the ball so much. But he's been great, and he's got a really good matchup against the Motor City Kitties this weekend. Detroit's defense has been brutal against wide receivers. So start Hollywood Brown. And then Sterling Shepard, like everyone was drafting Kenny Golladay, right? Sterling Shepard has been the guy that Daniel Jones has trusted the most in the pass attack. He is a very solid flex option this week against Atlanta. They've given up 15 touchdowns and the 4th most fantasy points to wide receivers in their last 9 games dating back to last year. And Atlanta's defense is just not very good, Bill. So Sterling Shepard should be in your lineup.
All right, so that was some good news if you have Hollywood or Sterling Shepard on your team. How about some bad news? Fantasy managers, if you have DJ Chark or Henry Ruggs, Fabiano's about to tell you why you should leave him on your bench.
Chark is going to be inconsistent all season long, right? And this could be a high-scoring game against the Cardinals, but here's why I'm a bit concerned about him. I guess number one is that he's 3rd right now in terms of target share behind Marvin Jones Jr. and Laviska Shenault for the Jaguars. And his quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who we all love, he leads all quarterbacks right now with a 39% uncatchable pass rate. Bill, that's not good. So unless you're desperate at wide receiver or maybe a flex position, I would keep Chark on the bench. I have the other 2 Jaguars receivers ranked higher than him this week. And then Henry Ruggs. This is all about not chasing fantasy points. And he was great last week against Pittsburgh, a really good defense. He put up a massive stat line, 22.5 fantasy points. But now he's got the Miami Dolphins. They've allowed 139 yards and the 10th fewest fantasy points per game to wide receivers in their first 2 games. So as good as Ruggs was, and I certainly would pick him up off the waiver wire, I wouldn't chase the points and go out and start him this week against Miami.
All right, we want to help you win your matchups in week 3, and we have more great fantasy insight and analysis. It's all up on Sports Illustrated. Head on over to si.com/fantasy.